few more things I just want to tell you about the reference plane. We were discussing about the reference plane in the last session, I remember.
Yeah. So,
Mm, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. See, this is a family I have created for the purpose of the reference plane. Just wanted to explain that what is the difference between the strong reference, weak reference, and no reference, not a reference. There is a thin line difference between all among all these three types. If I'm just opening this strong, weak,
stronger, weak.
and not a reference. If you go, this is a family. This is a very basic family. I have just created simple extrusion, and these are the default reference planes which are being set. And this is the one I have created. This is the reference plane, okay? And then I have applied an instance parameter to the length. This is L, okay? And you notice if I'm increasing this, it is actually changing the length. It is properly locked. The first one, I would, you see, is reference is something you have got many options there, starting with a no reference. If I'm starting with a not a reference, it is not a reference, and then load it into the project, see what it happens, what it does. If you select on the right side, it is not giving you a shape handle to increase or decrease the length. The way it is actually, it is allowing on the left side. Okay. So not a reference mean it is not giving you any shape handle. The first difference. However, if you make it strong or weak, in both cases, it will give you the shape handle. First, I'll show you the weak reference. I'm making it as a weak reference, and I'll show you that it has started giving you the shape handle on this side. And if I align it with the help of this line, I just want to align it, it gets aligned. Without, yeah, it actually moves. It doesn't stretch. Weak reference means it is not actually changing the length parameter. However, it takes the entire family to align it with the help of with respect to this line. Again, if I'm going to change it as a strong reference, and then load it. Now, again, it is also showing the shape handle, but the difference is it will actually stretch. That means the reference plane is that strong that it is actually changing the parameter length. The reference plane is even more stronger than the parameter length. This is the logic actually. So strong reference and weak reference both shows the shape handle. However, there is a difference. If you set it to the strong reference, the reference becomes more strong than the parameter length, and it increases the length or decreases the length. However, in the weak reference, the reference plane remains as a weaker section of the family, and the parameter length becomes more stronger, and it remains constant, unchanged. But in both cases, whether it is strong reference or weak reference, it only give you the shape handle in case of the instance parameter. If I change this parameter to the type parameter, L, if I make the L to a type parameter and then load it back, so now it is not showing any shape handle. So it is only applicable to the instance parameter. The strong, the weak, the not a reference, they will be applicable to the instance parameter. Yeah. The other thing about because other than these, not a reference, strong reference, and weak reference, there are many things. You can name them left, right, center, top, bottom. So most of them behaves mostly like the strong reference. if you make it, even if you make it left, it will behave like a strong reference. However, it is giving you a name that this is a strong reference. One more thing I just want to show you. Let's suppose this is, let me just first check that whether it is a, let's make it the instance one only. And if this is a strong reference, I just want to copy a few times and then put some parameter, maybe for some reference on both the edges. I just want to have some parameter, maybe for some alignment sake. Sometimes we have we need to have 200 from left side and 200 from the right side sometimes. So for example, if I'm putting a parameter offset, no matter whether we make it instance or type, let's make it instance only. This is offset, and also here I'm going to put the offset. Okay, so basically if I change it, this will also get changed, 320, 320. Okay, so this is just for the reference. And then the first, this one I'm going to make it as a weak reference, and this one I'm going to make as not a reference. So we have got three types of reference plane. The first one is the strong reference. We already discussed about this. This is something weak reference, and this is not a reference. Now I'm just going to load this. You see the family is same. It is having the shape handle because the parameter is an instance one. For the weak reference, it is showing us the shape handle. However, there is nothing in the family, but still there is a reference plane which is having the weak reference. It is giving you the shape handle to change this. Now you can see offset value is getting changed here. And if you change it from 310.7 to 150, so it will change here. The other thing is that if you want, yeah, please.
Only one side only change?
No, both sides.
Both sides change,
Both
both sides are visible the shape handle.
Yeah, because it is not showing any shape handle here because the left one was set to as a not a reference.
No reference. No reference.
Yeah, but this is the weak reference. So I just wanted to show you that in all the cases, you can even select for the reference plane which are set to weak reference, strong reference. They can be selected for dimensioning. However, on this side, you are not able to pick it because this is set to not a reference. If I just go back there in the family and change the reference of this particular one, which is not a reference, now I'm going to make it whether strong or weak, whatever you want to make. For example, weak. If I'm going to load it again. So now you can see it will show both the sides. Also, you can dimension. You can put dimension. If you want to, for example, if you want to draw something with the reference of this reference plane, so you can draw. So it will highlight. And if I change, for example, if I'm changing from the left side, the right one is also getting changed. Can you see it? If I increase or decrease, it is changing actually because both are bearing the same parameters. So both are changing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the other thing
is
yeah, please.
So this is now using family. We have used the reference in project.
Yeah, in the project, that's very interesting. If I'm in the project, if I'm using the reference plane, so it is actually not giving you that thing which is part of the family, because if you see in the family, if you select the reference plane, there are little more parameters available there, and you are asking the Revit is asking you is a reference, what type of reference you want to use in the family. However, in the project, if you see, it is only giving you to change the subcategory name or the scope box which you want to align it. That's it. So it is not asking you whether which type of reference you want to make it, only the subcategory. Subcategory means again the same thing as the same way we were creating the subcategory for the model elements. You can also create the subcategory for the reference planes. For example, if I'm going to make a different subcategory, we don't have any. So we'll have to create in the object style. In the annotation, it should be reference plane. These are the reference plane. I'm going to create it in the reference plane. For example, datum points. I'm just giving any random name. And this has to be maybe in blue color. Okay. So all the reference planes which will be set to the datum point will be visible in blue color. Even though this is a reference plane, but it will be visible as a blue color. And the line type is the other thing. If you want to change the line type, is the reference plane again. Where is the reference plane? Yeah, this is the reference plane, and then it was set to as a datum points. What was the name? These are the reference plane. This is the datum point, and now it has been set as a solid line, so we can have the same one, which is aligning line. I can simply just copy and paste the name so that it will take the same properties. And then you see this is being set to the reference plane. And then also one more thing, if you want some reference plane to be of some solid reference, maybe some strong reference of the project, you want to distinguish between the other reference plane and the reference plane which bears this subcategory. So you can also make them little thicker than the others. So there will be two difference. First one is the change in the color, and the other one is the change in the line weight.
The thickness.
The thickness. You can even increase little more so that it will be visible more clearly said, so that which will keeps them different from the other reference plane in the project. Maybe just make it 9 or something more than that. So this is again the reference plane, but this is a different one. So anyone, if you would change the subcategory, datum points, you can have multiple subcategories in the project. So if you can have red, blue, green for different uses. So this is all about the reference plane. And you see the properties of the reference plane in family are different as they are in the project. However, in the family also you have this subcategory option. If you see, there is again subcategory option. Within the family also you can create the subcategory for the reference plane. So that's not an issue. I hope this is clear.
Good question. Would you share any question? Just
if you don't have any question, I just want to show you something else.
okay. Okay.